Shazam. Is that working? Yet? I've still got a red light. Weird. Let's see. Settings. Audio. Testing. 1, 2, testing. Okay, it says we're there. Boom. My soundboard became unplugged. Can it become unplugged? Here, I got to adjust the camera. How's that for modern settings? There you go. Here I am. Yeah, the whole soundboard got unplugged a little earlier, and it must have also unplugged it from the box. I still had lights on there, though. That was weird. Well, it draws some power from the computer as well, but not enough to broadcast, so it's got to be plugged in to the socket. So, hey, Jeff Adamson, good to see you. 5x5, he says. Dark Truth, good to see you. Everybody who's new to the show right now, this is just the pre-show. We go live on the radio at 4 minutes and 25 seconds after the top of the hour. So this is just the dicking around here, getting everything set up. It's a good thing we didn't go live right away, right? Because my soundboard was unplugged. And I wouldn't have known that. Here, I'm going to start up well, there's my God voice. God voice. It's called feedback. There we go. Boom. All right. So we're set there. We are set with the network. And over on the radio station, which is, sorry, echo is on my part, says Morgan Snow. It's okay. It's okay. You know, I had these sitting on my desk here, and I thought, I sure miss my son Sam doing shows with me. These were sitting on the desk. Those were given to me by my friend Andy, who accidentally got me stoned when I was working for him, doing writing and doing interviews with people. He said, "Oh, I didn't realize it had THC in it." You know, those big, bold letters right there? They're gummies. He said, "Here, take these for the pain." You guys remember that story? Also, Sam and I down in the studio, the makeshift studio down in Louisiana. All right, folks, we're going to go dark. I'll be back in a few seconds when we start the show. Hang.
Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Well, happy Monday night, everyone. Welcome to the Intrepid radio program. I, of course, am your host, Scotty Roberts, right here on the Odyssey radio station. That's Odyssey, ODYSY radio.com. Go on over, see all the goodness that is Odyssey radio. And I've got all kinds of wires bugging me tonight. Sorry about that, folks. And in the pre-show, that's why we do a pre-show. Our whole soundboard was unplugged, so nobody was hearing anything. So there you go. I don't know who unplugged it. I don't recall unplugging it. Somebody may have tripped on the wires here. So we are here. You can go over to Odyssey Radio, check it out, see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. You can find times every day where this show replays during the day the next day. So go on over and check out Odyssey Radio. At the same time, if you're listening on Odyssey Radio, or if you're catching this in an archive, just know that you can also watch this show in its video simulcast. And there are 4 places you can do that now. You can go to Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Odyssey Radio. You can also go to my personal Facebook page, Mr.Scotty.Roberts. You can go over to the Intrepid Radio page on Facebook. And you can also come over to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And there you can join the live chat room. He was the jinn, said Sarah Yusuf. We were talking a little while ago before the show about this, about some of the topic that we're going to be talking about. I expect a lot of participation from you tonight, Sarah. And so everybody over in the chat room, as you gather, welcome. Those of you who are listening but not showing up in the chat room, come on in, join the crowd, join the fellow Intrepids, and talk with them. There's a lot of good conversation that goes on in the show. Hey, Uncle Dave, over in the chat room, and I'm just going to do this. Hey, Stylish Birch, good to see you. I don't think I know who you are off the top by that moniker, but hey, trees are styling, so there it is. And here I thought I had the night off, said Sarah Yusuf. Yeah, we'll call on you. You'll be able to put some comments in here. Matt Finn is here, I do believe. Matthew Finn, Master and commander of this chat room. And we have Matthew Sainsbury here from Barbados. Good to see you. Glad that you made it in. June Shasta and Morgan Snow, Stylish Birch. That's a great moniker. There's got to be a story behind that. And Dark Truth is here, and Morgan Snow. And I did see a friend of mine from social media. Where'd he go? Jeff Adamson. Good to see you here tonight, Jeff. And everybody else, Field Guy, good to see you. And glad you all made it in. There's more coming in as we go along. So not all the channels always show up for the chat room. So if you're missing chats, you don't know who I'm talking to or what I'm talking about, you can check it out on Facebook. You can check it out on the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're at the YouTube channel, go ahead and if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. And then give the show a thumbs up. That always helps me in the numbers category, which is an all-important thing when you're broadcasting. And also, you can join the channel. Just click the little join button. It's down below the window over here somewhere, I think. And you can see 3 different ways you can become a member of the channel. Not required by any means, but it's there if you'd like to help. So we'll leave that at that. Sean Bowden, good to see you tonight. We are friends on Facebook, said Stylish Birch. Fantastic. I'm glad we are. I'll have to go check that out. I'm sure I don't think you're Stylish Birch over on the chat room, but you don't have to reveal anything here. So welcome, everybody listening. Welcome to the show tonight. On Friday, we talk, and the jinn has become kind of a favorite topic of mine. Favorite is probably a very trite way to put it, but with all the different things I've been involved in on a spiritual level and a spirit level, I have, I don't know what words to use. I almost said it seems I have an affinity, but I haven't met a jinn. I haven't talked with a jinn. I have always said I would like to, but you have to be careful what you wish for. You don't know what you're going to get when you do that. My kids were riding in the car. Oh, my son, a 12-year-old son, was riding in the car. I was driving all those boys somewhere today up toward the city. And he had 3 of his friends along. They're all doing their chitter chatter and laughing and all of that. And somebody asked a question about ghosts or something supernatural or paranormal. They said, none of that's real, is it? And I said, oh, and I just butted in. I was just the driver, the chauffeur. I said, oh, it's all real. And I almost surprised myself in saying that, is that I said, yeah, you know what? Most of this stuff is real. And Ryan Gale, hey, Ryan, brohim, brudda, brava. Good to see you. Uncle Dave says, when it comes to gin, I prefer Bombay Sapphire. Although, of course, I've always been a Tanqueray type of a guy, but that was many moons ago. And so I want to, I've got some distraction from family, which always happens here. You all know that. Those of you who are accustomed to the show, I've got, shut that door, please. Hey, I'm live on radio here. We don't want any of you to think that the mood is broken or the what's the word I'm looking for? The that there's some kind of shattered perception of what's going on here. That the reality is the suspension of reality is broken. So here we are. So hey, Brianna, old neighbor, old friend, she's in here, and you know what? I don't need to take radio time to say hi to everybody. So if you guys don't anybody go all ape shit on me, and oh, by the way, welcome Michelle Cannon Free. We'll hit it in the captain's cabin tonight. And those of you who are new to the show, also remember when this show goes off air in about 50 minutes or thereabouts, we stay live here on YouTube and some of the other video simulcasts. And we're off air at that time, but we have the captain's cabin. Our army mateys swab the deck and climb the mizzen mast. So that's what will happen after the show. And we stay on for a little while, sometimes a few minutes, sometimes a couple of hours. All depends on what the topic is and how hard and fast we're going on it. So there, all the introductory matter is out of the way. Oh, wait. One self-advertisement that you all should be fully aware of by now. My latest illustrated book, The Sword and the Clay, is available. You can see it's not a big book. It's about 8,000 words, and it's all illustrated. It's my illustration there. There's a sample of my illustration work right on the cover. If you don't know about this yet, go over to, guess what the website is? theswordintheclay.com. And you can take a closer look at it, see some of the pictures, see some of the upcoming books that are coming. And by the way, this is one of the, if you haven't seen this, this is one of the bookmarks that I had done. And that's one of the illustrations from the book. And The Sword and the Clay, and you flip it over. It's got one of the maps I did for the book on there, and also another one of the illustrations taken from an old photo of the brothers in there. So, and it's got this velvety finish on it. It's real nice. So that you can get with the book as well. So there it is. There's my self-advertisement. Thanks for coming. Now let's get into it. We were talking about the jinn on Friday, as I mentioned, and I find them fascinating beings. And I have heard them equated with the demonic for many years before I knew anything about them at all. And so I wanted to know something about them. And then, of course, as most of you know, I had my own experiences in Egypt where, let's put it this way, I am not given to visions. I'm not given to weird stuff, to seeing weird stuff and being weird about it in the afterglow. But when I was in Egypt, I saw something. Yes, yes, they do, Brianna. There's a quote from Brianna Learman. You can all take that one to the bank. They feel like velvet. So, yes, they do. They're amazing. And so when I was in Egypt, I had some experiences. And those experiences were something I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't looking for it. I had no idea that that would happen to me. And I, in the ensuing years, have found that there is some connectivity of some kind to that. I had a vision there. And many of you have heard that story. I'm not going to repeat the story tonight again, but I had a vision in Egypt at Saqqara, in the Hebsed court at the stepped pyramid, and where all I'm going to say is everything changed in front of my eyes, and it looked as it would have looked 3,000-4,000 years ago. And so I was very taken aback by that when I blinked and I was back to reality, present day. And I went around. There was nobody there. I took pictures all over the place. I was with John Ward. And it wasn't until almost 7 years later that I found a figure in the background emerging from behind the stonework in one of the photos. And it really shocked me. I was not prepared for that to have been there. And that was about 3 years ago now. And so I've had different things that have happened, supernatural things, paranormal things, if you will. Paranormal. I almost hate using the word because it has become a bit of a caricature of itself. As I like to say, I don't believe in the supernatural per se. I believe the supernatural is, as we call it, is no different than the natural. Just because we don't see and experience viscerally and visually all of those things and physically doesn't mean they don't exist. And I don't think that puts them outside. They're only outside the natural because they're in that spirit realm, that spiritual realm of things. And so that's how I would describe that. And another day we'll go into some of the things that I saw. And Sarah Yusuf, you saw some of the pictures. She's got a unique perspective in that she's had a, not to reveal anything secret about her, I think she's talked about this in public, an Islamic background. And so she had some unique perspective on this. And that's what I really wanted to cover tonight. I wanted to talk about a perspective on the jinn, even though we talked about the jinn on Friday, and we had a whole series on the jinn a couple of years ago now, I think it was. I want to talk about them because there's a perspective we didn't hit that much on. And the first thing, I want to read you this little thing from Victor Hugo, who wrote in Les Jinn, was the title of his book. And you remember Victor Hugo? You probably had to read him in high school. He wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and as well as other books. And or was it Les Miserables? No, he didn't. Now I'm confused myself. I know he wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So Sarah Yusuf says basically jinn are varied like people. Yeah, and if you remember last Friday we read the conversation that a man who is has his PhD in anthropology, something anthropology, and he was also a shaman. But he had a lot of credentials, if you remember on Friday. Trust us, folks listening. The guy had credentials. And he had an experience where he communicated with a jinn back and forth. And while they can be tricky sometimes, the jinn, tricksters, they can come across as benevolent. They can come across as doing very negative things. It all depends on the mood and the individual. As Sarah just said, basically jinn are varied like people. And so this jinn talked to this shaman about how the jinn are different from one another. They aren't all locked into a certain trait or characteristic, but they are certain beings. Now, Victor Hugo wrote, "The swarm of jinn is passing, and it whirls hissing. Old conifers, stirred by their flight, crackle like burning pine. Their herd, heavy and swift, flying in the vacant space, seem a livid cloud with lightning flashing at his edge." Now, do you remember this shaman, the way he described the jinn? Now, in legend, jinn has been said, they could appear as women, they could appear as men. They are female and male. There are young and old. And that they can appear in certain ways. They can take on different forms, almost like a shape-shifting. But this jinn appeared to this man as light, multicolored light, and he was hiding out or dwelling in the doorway of an old temple, which I've been to many times, Menedat Habu in Luxor, Egypt, that he was hiding inside the doorway over the threshold into the holy place in the shrine. And so the drama and the power of the jinn. They're also known as the fire spirits because they were created not of dust as man was, not of what was it with angels? Light, but they were created from fire, and we call them genies or jinn. And as they're presented in the literatures of the world, and there's enough literature out there and stories about the jinn to just it'll almost take your breath away. There's so many of these beings are mysterious, they're frightening, they cause humankind lots of grief, and yet there's a spark of goodness that's among them as well. They can help as well as hinder, and readers in the West shake their heads in amazement as they read the tales or hear the tales of the jinn, and some wonder, could such a creature actually exist? Hard part is finding these stories in English, says Sarah Yusuf, over their smokeless fire. Yes, smokeless fire was what they were creating, and what I heard from the most outer edges of the flame, where it is the hottest. And imagine a species of intelligent beings that live secretly among us. Now, that all by itself is the mystery that draws the human mind to these things. Because we say, what is that? What's the mystery behind that? Is there anything to that? Remember, in our society, our culture, at least here in the West, in the United States, we are a society that has pretty much overall kind of secularized ourselves. We have, if you've noticed in the last 20 to 30 years, this dropping interest in traditional religion, but a rising interest in spirituality. And so because of that, I think that you're going to see a lot of people try to secularize these things and talk them away into non-existence. What was the old line from the movie, The Usual Suspects? Old Kevin Spacey movie from the 80s, I think, where one of the famous lines from that movie was, he said, the devil's greatest lie was convincing people that he didn't exist. And I think that's what we have with the jinn. That's what we have with the ghosts, with the paranormal, with interdimensional stuff. It's all interdimensional, I think, to a certain extent. But we no longer believe that those things exist because we've kind of pushed them out. You know why you don't see ghosts? You don't want to. You push it out. You notice people who invest themselves more and more into seeking out the answers about ghosts and spirits. They're the ones who see more and they experience more all the time. So the more effort, the more practice you put into it, into seeing things, the more you see them. All entities of free will eventually will be judged, says Sarah Yusuf. That's it. And the jinn are of free will as well. So when you imagine this species, they can change their shape, they can fly through the air, they can even render themselves invisible. They watch us, they study us, they react to us. Now, on a totally different level, on the demonic level, which I do not believe jinn are demons, neither are they angels. They're different kinds of beings. On the demonic level, now I'm not Roman Catholic, but I learned some of this theology from a good friend of mine, Adam Bly, who is not an exorcist because he's not a priest, but he taught exorcism at the Vatican. Go figure. He couldn't do it because he wasn't part of the priesthood, but he was able to. He was called on because of his knowledge. And he said in Roman Catholic theology, he said, demons, the demonic, will watch us and attempt to imitate us, to mimic us, to recreate us. This whole notion of the idea of aliens coming down and abducting people and trying to reproduce with them, all the mythology and the mythos behind that comes out of the same thing. He said this is what the demonic has been trying to do from the beginning, but God keeps them on a very short leash. He says they only have so much that they're able to do. So it's very interesting topic when you start looking. Now that's demons, but with the jinn, it says occasionally they'll abduct humans and even mate with them. They produce hybrid offspring. In today's North America or Europe, such creatures are discussed in all seriousness by many, and they're called aliens or greys. And in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, beings that fit this description are called jinn. So there are different descriptors, different titles we put on. What are they really? Who are they really? So many in the West are unwilling to concede the existence of jinn, which is their Arabic name. And this reluctance is grounded partly in a rationalistic tradition, and which rejects the existence of most things that can't be seen or experienced otherwise. I've always said I'm a pragmatic kind of guy. If I can't see it, touch it, talk to it, taste it, smell it, hear it, it's hard for me to believe in it. That was a tough row to hoe for a guy who was in ministry in a very conservative fundamentalist Baptist church many years ago. And these were some of the things that I think pulled me away, was that I was having my doubts and having my questions. And as I've always said, I haven't thrown out the baby with the bathwater, but I still question things and have my doubts. So many in the West, the Western culture, aren't willing to concede that things like this can exist. Though science does admit the existence of the infrared, the ultraviolet, light spectra, and all of that, despite the fact that you can't see those things either or detect those by the human eye. So it's the idea that we ascribe personality to them, or they have personality. Now, I will tell you this, after my experience in Egypt, which took place in 2013, 9 years ago, where I later, almost 7 years later, saw a picture of a being in one of my photos. And it's not like, what's that misty thing? It was a hard figure silhouetted in the sun. And so I saw these things and I started to question them. And the unseen became the seen for me. And also I was able to experience certain things after the fact, things that I would attribute to whatever this character was. And it's only recently that I really, last couple of years since I saw this photo, that I started wondering if that was a jinn that I experienced there, along with somebody that lived 3,500 years ago. So it's very interesting. Now, in our culture's collective experience, the anecdotal evidence for any of this phenomena with jinn is really sparse. And there's very few of us that have ever claimed to have seen a jinn. Many in Western, and by the way, I have to put this caveat out there. It's not superstitious, but I like to say, if there are jinn that hear me or experience me talking, I'm not calling on the jinn to do anything. Like I said, sometimes you're going to be afraid what you ask for. So I'm very cautious about that. I have this deep desire to experience knowing one, conversing with one, not being terrified by one. And what I've heard from some people, I have a Muslim friend in Australia who said that she believed that she had experience with jinn in Australia, and it terrified her. So it's very interesting stuff. Many in Western cultures refuse to even admit that the jinn exist because they're viewed as an element of fantasy literature. The imaginations, the imaginative Arabian Nights, Aladdin, stories like that. That creation has entertained children for generations, but has no basis in fact. That's the problem with it. It's not a factual telling of the jinn. Aladdin's magic lamp is a storyteller's figment. It's not part of our concrete world. So when Westerners conjure up a mental picture of a genie, the first image to come to mind might be Hubba Hubba Barbara Eden in I Dream of Jeannie. I think she was one of my first crushes when I was a boy, watching that series in the late 60s, early 70s in reruns, perpetual reruns. It's like, hello. It's like, I have to ask you, what was Major Nelson's problem? He spent half of that series pushing her away. Most guys were like, dude, if I had a genie pop out of a bottle that looked like that and called me master, hello. So that was one of our first. You also had the genie from Aladdin, the animated cartoon that was voiced by Robin Williams. Now, it might come as a surprise to most people living in the West, but to learn that jinn are taken seriously and regarded as real, tangible beings by a large segment of the world's population, that exists. Millions of people in North Africa, the Middle East, other Islamic regions have been brought up to consider jinn as a normal part of the real world. And they're a natural part of the world around them. And admittedly, this belief has eroded somewhat. It says educated elites in the Muslim countries, influenced by Western thought, have come to view the jinn as essentially a spiritual or even a metaphorical concept. Remember, I may have told you a long time ago when I was sitting, I see that my signal looks rather weak on here. I hope we're not having any broadcasting problems. It seems crystal clear here, but I'm noticing my signal is way down, and I'm not sure what that's about. But Dave Potter said the jinn are nothing to be trifled with. I would agree. Sarah Yusuf said he liked hanging out with Major Healy. Yeah, that's it. That was interesting. He preferred Major Healy to Jeannie. Well, anyway, where was I going with that? In talking about all of this, there was an experience that I had that I was going to bring up here. It'll come back to me. We were talking about the educated, even in Muslim cultures, Islamic cultures. Do you remember me talking about when I was at Gebel El Silsila in Egypt, my friend John and Maria's site, archaeological site about 100 miles south-ish of Luxor, down the River Nile. And one of their bosses, the inspector general from Komombo, I'm trying to think of his name now. I think it was Ahmed. But he would sit on the boat, and we struck a very good friendship. And he had, if you think of Salah from the Indiana Jones movies, that is kind of what he reminded me of. Salah, only a little more clean cut. But he had that gregarious voice, and he would talk like this. And I got up one morning, I shambled out of my cabin down below. The dig house was a big dahabeah, a boat. And I came on deck, and he's already up, and he's having coffee. Scotty, me boyo, he says. Boyo being a Welsh term that we taught him. Scotty, me boyo, come sit, have coffee with me. and we would talk in the morning. And he said, once he said to me, and I his voice always comes out when I talk. He says, so tell me, Scotty. He says, I overheard you say that you had lost your faith a long time ago. He says, can you explain this to me? And so I told him what I was thinking. I said, I don't think I've lost it. I said, that's just an easy way to say I've got a lot of questions and I've backed away from my faith. And he says, okay, I understand that. And I said, now let me ask you a question. I said, you are an academic. You're a scientist. You're an archaeologist. I said, yet you are also a Muslim living in a Muslim country. I said, what do you do? I said, when you question perhaps a traditional religious belief because it doesn't seem to coincide with what you're finding out scientifically. And I was being very vague and general on that. And he said, and I saw a lot of Muslim men would do this. over there in Egypt when I would ask them questions like that. A couple of guys that were archaeologists, and another one is Inspector General of the not Luxor temples, the one 3 miles down the road, the Karnak temples. He's the one who walked me all around when we were writing our book, John Ward and I, and showed me 23 different sites I had questions about at Karnak temples. And he walked me all around. He's become a very good friend. Momin Saad is his name. But so one thing I would see a lot of Muslim men would do, and I don't know if this is characteristic, but I saw a lot of men do this. You'd ask a question like that. Well, what do you do about your faith if you're questioning it? And his eyes went closed and his eyebrows went up, and he went, well, and like that, the hands will go out. I saw that so many times that I wondered if that was just like a cultural thing that some of the men do over there. So I asked him that question: what do you do when your faith goes against your science, or vice versa? He says, well, Scotty, he says, I will tell you, he says, my faith is here, my science is here, and I do not let them cross. And I thought that was a very interesting answer. So as I remember, when I was writing some of my books, I had one of my old seminary professors said to me, Scotty, remember, you need to filter everything through the Bible. And I said, but what if history doesn't line up with the Bible? And he says, well, then the history is probably recorded wrong. Now, this is a man who was an historian and an archaeologist himself and an Egyptologist. So, yeah, that's a terrible answer, but that was his answer. So when I look at this, this is all about saying that the belief may have eroded a bit, but also every Muslim Egyptian archaeologist I spoke with all had experiences, spiritual experiences of ghosts, of jinn. I told this story many times. I've made mention. During the dig, one of the Egyptian workers runs in off of the rocky shore, up on the gangplank and onto the boat, down into the cabin, the hold where they all slept. And he was yelling on the way that he had seen a jinn in the rocks, the rocky crags up on the shore. And soon, within a few minutes, all the other Egyptian workers are running back to the boat because of what he said, claiming there was a jinn in the hills. And they all went to the hold at the front of the boat and smoked shisha down there for the rest of the night and would not set foot on shore again until the next morning. So that said to me what the belief in the jinn were among common people out there. So Muslims committed to the literal truth of the Quran as the word of Allah conveyed to the Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel dare not reject the notion of the jinn entirely because of their faith. Then the Quran describes the jinn as actual, intelligent life forms, being that, though different from humans, share some attributes with us, people. They share attributes. The jinn populate the world with offspring. They can have offspring. They too are male and female. They raise families. They possess free will. They make choices in their lives. They accept or reject God. Now, remember last Friday we talked about Wesselman's encounter with the jinn and his story? How he talked about how the jinn said, no, God as we would know him in the West, that these gods, these angels, these devils, these demons, that they're all bad, that they're the ones that are trying to deceive you. And then he spoke of the originator as being the creator, because he asked him, did God, as we know him, create mankind? He said, no. He says, we refer to them as him or it as the originator. So Sarah Yusuf says there's a whole section in the Quran devoted to the jinn, which I have not read, and I need to read that. I've read snippets. I haven't read the account. Finding people who say, I don't know, is a miracle in itself, says Sarah Yusuf in Islam. Same thing. I think there are obviously some what's the word I'm looking, correlations with Christianity and Judaism. So they're actual physical life forms that have a spiritual element to them. They populate the world. They're male and female. They raise families. They possess free will. They make choices in their life. They accept or reject God. Some become renegades, and they're classified as demons or ghouls of some sort. And others practice established religions. They live what humans would consider conventional, normal lives among their own kind. Jinn generally keep to their own communities, but also on occasion they interact with humans, sometimes emotionally or sexually, and in positive or negative ways. I've heard stories and tales of jinn that take human form and marry humans and live with them for lifespans. I think that that's very interesting. Hey, Trek Yards, Stuart Foley, good to see you in the chat room. So, I was just seeing if somebody else had something to say in the chat room there that I was going to mention. Muslims that are committed to the literal truth of the Quran as the word of Allah believe this. These interactions, by the way, of jinn with humans, they can occur haphazardly or unavoidably. When the worlds of jinn and humans touch, they can intersect. They can happen when jinn make a conscious decision to seek out, contact, or confront human beings. Now, I was told by a psychic medium who was there in Egypt with us, my Scottish friend, Chris Conway, very witty man and very intelligent. And he said, he got somebody that was connected to me. Now, I'm still unclear as if this photo I've gotten of this character and some of the interaction I had through the medium are the one and same character, or if there's somebody else. So, or if they're two distinct characters. But my friend said, this man that's connecting to you, he said that he's connecting to you because he likes the fact that you think the way he thinks, which was very interesting. I'm like, well, how does he think? So there's a lot of vagaries. I didn't know who this was or what these guys were. And so as this goes on, in the Arab and the Islamic worlds, jinn haunt abandoned houses, crumbling ruins. There was the one jinn that we talked about last Friday who was seen inside the doorway to the shrine at Menedat Habu, which I've been through that doorway. I've been there. I've seen those places. I've walked on that threshold. But he was seen by the shaman in there. And so the shaman sought him out. So he was allowed to see him. Why? That's a good question. And so, but they can dwell in those places. They can inhabit caves, even sewers and sinkholes. They can wander through the desert, they guard hidden or buried treasures. They take the form of snakes and other beasts. They possess humans and perform wonders at the bidding of magicians. But what may seem to be jinn activity is not always so. Even those who believe firmly in the jinn concede that swindlers, grifters, scammers can often use this belief to manipulate the guileless and defraud the innocent. And so, according to Islamic tradition, God created angels from light, humans from clay, jinn from smokeless fire. And jinn is a word derived from an Arabic root meaning to conceal or to cover with darkness. And they're said to have the ability to hide themselves from humans, often by disguising themselves as animals. It's almost like a shapeshifter, like such as snakes or dogs or cats. Now, is this maybe why I know in Egypt, I never asked anybody this question. Maybe, Sarah, you know something about this. Um, that in Egypt, you can have a cat and you can have a cat in your house, but dogs are considered dirty. You don't pet them, you don't take care of them. That's why you see packs of wild, domesticated, but wild dogs. Maybe that's a contradiction in terms. They're not like vicious, but they just, we were at, when we were at Saqqara at the stepped pyramid, pack of about 20 dogs, all gathered around all of us. We're all feeding them scraps and they're all letting us pet them and stuff like that. They're desert dogs. And is that why it seems, hey, James McMichael, yes, I do need a tan, brother. In the worst way. It's my lighting, too. I could turn that off and I would look a lot less pale and pasty. So here, there's my tan. You can see. You see, you can't even tell the difference. Look at that, where my watch was. Oh, well. Inconsequential. It's a cleanliness issue, said Sarah. Okay. Not one of a spiritual nature. So what you've got then is jinn who could reveal themselves as snakes or dogs or cats. Many listened to the teachings of the prophet and found them persuasive and became Muslim. A jinn could become a Muslim. And various local traditions, including those in Palestine, in Israel, in Arabia, also recognize the existence of Christian and Jewish jinn. Now, that's very interesting to me, that they could choose a religion to be part of. In some countries, such as the Maldives and Indonesia, jinn are said to adopt sometimes other faiths. They'll take them on, such as Buddhism or Hinduism. And scholars in Muslim countries, theologians, philosophers, and even scientists, they've wrestled with the whole nature of the jinn ever since the foundation of Islam in the 7th century. And in the 13th century, the celebrated Persian physician, astronomer, geographer Zachariah al-Qazwini, I think I'm saying that right, Qazini, maybe, perhaps, Qazwini, Qazini, wrote a work in Arabic about the universe that defined jinn as follows. He said this about them. This is what Qazini said. He said, it is, go ahead. He said, it is held that jinn are aerial animals with transparent bodies which can assume various forms. End of quote. Now, he noted that options or opinions differed on what jinn really are. Some consider the jinn, he said, as unruly men. But these persons are of the, and I'm going to really butcher the pronunciation, is the Mu'tazila, a sect of Mu'tazila, a sect of Muslim free thinkers. And some hold that God created the angels of light and of fire, and the jinn of its flame, and that all these kinds of beings are usually invisible to men, but that they assume whatever forms they please. They can take those on. And when their form becomes condensed, they're visible. So in the 14th century, Mamluk Egypt, a scholar named Muhammad al-Damiri made another effort to explain these remarkable beings, these creatures, in almost a zoological sense. He said, some say parazoological, so maybe cryptids or something like that. Opus called Hayat al-Hawayan, the life of animals. The Hayat is an ambitious book that describes 731 different animal species. And they all had numerous digressions into theological options, folklore, and the traditions of the prophet. It would be like saying a shapeshifter would turn into a hawk or a wolf primarily. It's that kind of a thing, saying this is what they did. This was a trait of a shapeshifter. So they're saying there was traits with the jinn, although they had different digressions that they could do. It draws on 585 other prose words, and 222 poetic sources. Al-Damiri fits the jinn comfortably into the world of animals. He describes them as ethereal bodies capable of forming themselves into different shapes. They have reason. They have understanding. They have the capability for hard work. They're different from humans. And said that they're called jinn because they are wary and they're not seen. They're hidden. Keep themselves hidden. The unseen. And he cites a tradition of Abu el-Darada, a companion of the Prophet, who said, God created 3 types of jinn, a type which are snakes, scorpions, and vermin on the earth, a type like the breeze in the air, and a type like humans, who are subject to the judgment and the punishment. Yeah, Sarah Yusuf, I was just looking at that myself. We've got roughly, 2 minutes and 30 seconds after, or it's 52 and 35. So, guys, we got to cut out of here off the radio station very soon, within just a couple of minutes here. At 55:25 after the hour is when we need to cut out, do end credits, but then stick around. If you want to talk some more about this, we're going to have what we affectionately call the Captain's Cabin. Captain's Cabin. Think of that. The listeners dubbed the after show the Captain's Cabin. And you know what? I don't know where it actually started, but I've always liked it. Everybody started calling me Captain in here. I think it's because I liked Captain Kirk or something like that. And years ago that started. And so now they call the after show the Captain's Cabin. So stick around. After the show is over on the radio, we'll do end credits, and then we'll come back, and we'll be here. And those start in about 2 minutes. We go into the end credits. So Muhammad Assad, 1900 to 1992, was a highly regarded European Muslim thinker. He was an author who converted from Judaism, and his birth name was Leopold Weiss. He described the jinn as certain sentient organisms of so fine a nature and of a physiological composition so different from our own that they're not normally accessible to our sense perception. And if we assume we must, that they are living organisms whose biological premises are entirely different from our own, this is all his quote, it is only logical to assume that our physical senses can establish contact with them only under very exceptional circumstances. Hence, the description of them as being invisible beings. Now, by the way, folks, if you stick around for the Captain's Cabin, I'll re-show those pictures that we've showed a few times on here to show you what I saw and what I experienced. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll show you so you can see what I was doing. So right now, folks, we've got about 30 seconds and we got to go out of here. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you for listening to the show. We're going to get out of the radio, audio only over at the radio station aspect of this show. And we're going to stick around for the Captain's Cabin. So all of you, I want you to make a plan of it. Come around. I don't know how long we'll go tonight, but we'll talk for a little bit afterwards. So those of you who are here, live long and prosper.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
All right, folks, we're back for the captain's cabin. Good to see you. I am going to unplug my headset. I've only got that in because I get feedback during the show. So hang on. I got to turn my computer to get at that. We got everybody that's still talking in the background as if I'm not broadcasting. So can you close the door, please, if you're all going to yell? Thank you. Don't know what's going on there. Mom's mad about something. Mom's been cranky for days. And it ain't that period of time, shall we say, to be gentle about it. And by the way, Michael, when I saw you, Michael, James McMichael, sorry I couldn't spend a lot of time saying hi. We can now, if you're still there. Good to have you here tonight. So welcome to the captain's cabin. This is our after show, our bit of our afterglow, you could say, from the radio show now that we are off air over on the radio. So I'm glad to have you all here. Yeah, it's been, it hasn't been super hot lately, but it's hot and it's really humid up here. And our air conditioner went out, our central air. And we had somebody out to fix it today. And he said, it's all fixed. I got it fixed. Boom, boom, boom. But it's still super hot upstairs, like 5 hours later. Not quite sure. We're going to have to call them back and say, hey, why isn't it not cooling down here? So is it, I noticed that the thermostat was set to like 69 up there, Rainey. We're not getting any cool air upstairs. It's cool down here.
And I keep walking past it and turning it. I had it turned down to 60 for a couple hours.
I saw that. I turned that up a little bit to 69.
I don't know why
So,
I messed with it. I would have left it. I'm trying to see if it actually is going to cool the house. I have it set at 50
okay.
now.
At 50?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully it'll... I'm still on air, by the way.
Yeah,
so.
Like to see. Well, I'm yelling since I'm sitting on the toilet because I'm not sure what you can hear.
I don't know if you all heard that.
I'm sitting on the toilet taking a dump.
My lovely wife, who by looking at her, you wouldn't think that she poops. She's sitting over there on the toilet with the door open on the bathroom way over there. So, so she's yelling to me from there.
I want to leave it at 50 for the next hour.
See what it does.
See if it drops the temperature in the house. Otherwise, I'm not sure what's going on, but our house shouldn't be at 80 with the air conditioner on.
No, it's been at 80 all day upstairs. It's really warm upstairs. So, well, we'll just call him back in the morning.
Yeah, especially since he left the tool here.
Yep, he left his tool here. One of them. So, yeah. You set it at 69. Some liminal suggestions, says Uncle Dave. Shh, now, Uncle Dave. This is a family show. Rainey, come and say hi.
I don't wanna.
Since you could sit on the toilet and yell at me, you can certainly come over here and say hi.
Hi.
There she is. There's the beautiful.
We should get a camera in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I can just be right on with you while I poop.
There you go. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So here's Rainey's toilet cam. I love your hair.
We'd make some money off that.
Your hair?
No. Well, probably, but
No.
off a toilet cam.
Oh, toilet cam? Yeah, we're always looking for ways to make a little extra cash coming in.
Make sure your window's
Maybe
shut.
we'll call it Rainey's toilet cam.
Toilet cam.
Toilet cam. Now your head's off the top. There you are. So hey, Rainey.
Hi.
Says Grumpy Stat. Or no, that was Barbie D. And there's Sean Stroik. Welcome. Now that the show's over,
I probably should have sat on the other side.
you can if you want.
No, I'm good.
All right, because I'm up high here.
Wait, the show's over now?
Yeah, the
Don't
show's
even.
over, but we're talking on air.
I told
So
you if you ask again, it's a no. Nope.
if you ask again, it's a no. Automatically. You've been bugging me all day.
No, I didn't say anything.
She wants a free kitty, and I'm like,
I know.
we don't need a free kitty.
And I told you. If you
So
keep
shots
pestering
from the
me-
throne, says Stylish Birch. There you go.
Okay, so now you've asked once. Now you've asked once, so go
See,
away.
my family just, everybody just still yells, and
That's 'cause it's
I'm on radio, and everybody yells.
That's 'cause it's hot.
Rennie said because it's fucking hot in
I'm
here.
hot. I am pissed off. at
She's
you,
hot.
Renee.
She's
I'm
smoking.
hot. It's been a fucking 87 degrees and 77% humidity for the last 2 days.
It
without
has.
working air conditioner, and I got all my windows shut, and it's colder than hell outside. and I gotta have my windows shut to see if the freaking air conditioning even works.
Here you go.
Now, oh,
There you go, Grumpy. That's her.
bite me, Grumpy.
But not the way I do. There we go. There's Uncle Dave. How you doing?
Howdy.
Or Grumpy. You're on my shit list.
I am.
Grumpy is.
Oh, Grumpy Stack is. He just blah blah blah'd her.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, I can't go any lower than
And
that.
not only that, we've had extra kids in our house since 7:30
Oh, there
this
we go.
morning.
Oh, my God, babe.
Non-stop. He said, she said, he did,
Blah
he
blah
did.
blah 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 blah
They hit
blah.
me. They won't let me play. Like, fucking shut up.
Yeah, there was yeah,
The purple Kool-Aid's gonna come out here in a minute.
there's a brother and sister that are friends of Flynn's and Rowan's and my kids.
Shut up.
Not talking to you.
Go away.
Bye.
Told me to shut up. What the heck?
Well, stay out of my conversation. If I'm talking to you, I'll call your name.
So there you go.
Rowan, come to the camera. Come here. Come here.
Might want to do a cleansing of the house, said
Rowan?
Sarah Yusuf.
Rowan, listen
Hey,
to Uncle Dave.
stop making noise for the sake of making noise over there, please.
Listen to Uncle Dave.
Listen to Uncle
Listen
Dave.
to Uncle Dave. Shut up.
There it is.
Shut
Shut up.
up.
Shut it.
Somebody else has to take a shit.
So my children are precocious enough that they think it's something that they can. Yeah, house cleansing would be to remove my children.
You're mean.
Oh my
Right.
goodness. So we went to Scouts
Yes,
tonight
kill
with
the
Rowan,
children.
and there was flowers sitting on the table, and I said, "Hey, Rowan," I said, "Do you know what kind of flowers those are?" And she looks at me, and I said, "They start with a D,"
And then I was like this.
and gave me a look, and oh my god, I laughed so hard, and I said, "It's not that." I said, "They're freaking daffodils." I don't know no dick flowers.
Daffodils. There you
I
go.
said daffodil dick.
Actually, there is a flower that it's shaped like a male member. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's like a phallus something or other, or
Go to your
Go.
guest.
Go. You got a guest here. Oh, that's what I was talking about. We got so the brother and sister came
Oh,
over
yeah.
for Flynn and Ellery. So they are Rowan. So they both have a friend over. But then Flynn wanted me to take him somewhere today with his buddies. And so I had four guys, all right around 11, 12 years old, piled into the back
double
of the car.
weights,
What?
boys.
Da boys. And so I brought them all somewhere. And then now it turned into Flynn's got like a, I guess you don't, you want to get Flynn, get him. You say, "Oh, I hear you're having a slumber party." No, but now he's got all four
The boys
boys.
don't call it a slumber party.
Yeah, it ain't no slumber party.
All-nighter.
Yeah,
Yes.
doing an all-nighter.
An all-nighter. So he's got all four of those guys up in his room. They're all hanging, playing video. I don't know how they can do it with it's too warm
Don't do
up
that
there.
dumb face. That's Rowan's face.
Don't do that.
You do nicer faces.
Yeah, do a nice face. And then, of course, there's the
Hi,
little
Ellie.
one
Brush your
who
hair.
has
I'm
no
gonna
one
chop
to
it off
play
while you're
with.
sleeping.
So, there it is. Hey, Michelle Canham, free magic, she says. Sarah Yusuf, corpse flower.
Did we finish the kids? Flynn has 3
That
friends
one
staying.
smells.
I would
like
like you
like-
to go do
like-
something else.
Yeah, I need
Say
to
hi
go
to
outside.
Uncle Dave
Barbara D says hi.
and
say
go.
bye.
Go.
Go to
Then
your
go.
room. You're
We are
tired.
so overdone with kids today. So, oh my God. Uncle Dave, what are you doing? You should
I
come
spent
over.
the day in a motorhome with no air conditioning on,
Nice.
pulling all the things out that I could salvage
Working.
before it gets turned over to the salvage yard this week.
Hey,
so
June
that
Shasta.
I can get my new motorhome. So
There it is. June Shasta says, Uncle Dave rocking the Nostradamus beret look.
yeah, I've got my little tassel on and everything. Yeah,
Wow. That's kind of neat.
I'm sitting here studying Van Dyke's portrait style.
So you got to wear the hat to
Yeah.
kind of fit in.
Yeah, see, I'm literally
Uh-oh.
I'm literally
I'm literally see ya. So I'm gonna turn off that scrolling banner.
Cool.
There we go. Go back to the comments. Can't stop the magic, says Michelle Canham Free. Can't stop it. Stop showing off, Michelle Canham Free, says Sean Stroik. So, yeah, the whole Djinn thing, I'm going to carry on with this for a few days because some of this is new information for me. And I think it's, no,
Serious.
don't.
To your room.
I shouldn't have to say anything. How many times do you have to tell children something before it sticks?
Too many.
It's not that I'm not a veteran dad or anything like that. I've been a dad for the last 30 years. But it irritates the shit out of me when I tell my kids, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, and then they just don't do it. They just do their own thing. It's like, excuse me? I can't whip them. I can't take a limb or a knuckle. So, sipping on gin and juice, says Grumpy Stag. So, there we go. Welcome back. I guess you don't turn your computer around anymore.
I slightly turned my phone and it just shut me off. I don't know what the heck.
Aw.
Goodbye.
Maybe because the camera saw another monetized thing and I was like, ooh, click.
It is. No, your phone probably just did a, oh, you're turning me. Bye.
I have reception here, but not there.
That's right. That's right. So
anyways, yeah, I've been studying Van Dyke since I got home from the motorhome. I came home, it's like 85 in the house, turned the air conditioner on again, came into my room, turned a fan on. I'm sitting here in a direct fan. I had a popsicle followed by 3 big glasses of iced tea, and I'm finally cooled down to the point where I'm not hostile.
So can you turn your air up any?
The parents don't like it to get,
It's the parent thing. I get it.
Yeah, this is, when you're taking care of geriatrics, you kind of live by their needs.
Yes.
And to them,
Oh my God, it's 92 in here. Can you warm it up a bit?
75 is way too
I'm freezing. I need a
way too
sweater.
cold for them. So yeah.
Oh.
So
But what's Grumpy Stack's euphemism? Sipping on gin and juice. There you go. So
is that what we're calling it now?
You blah, blah, blah me.
Rainey says we're not talking to Grumpy. What Rainey wants, Rainey gets. If I can get that to sit where it's supposed to sit, it's the arm wants to keep giving me issues. That's too low. Where did I have it? I guess that's fine. There we go. That's better.
Okay.
All right. That'll pick you up. Gosh dang it, woman. You're awfully purty.
Mm-hmm.
If all goes well, I might have my new motorhome on Wednesday, and maybe I'll drive out there.
Oh, right on.
If not, I'll come out on Friday.
The kids would love that. Now we know who to borrow a motorhome from.
Right.
You know what's lovely about it is it's got a queen size bed and back and no other furniture in it. So it
Nice. Hey, you want to go with us out to the Custer battlefield?
Oh yeah.
That was
Hey,
do you want to drive Scotty out?
Do you want to go with us to the Custer battlefield?
I've been thinking about doing a podcast thing called Historical Tours, where we literally take the motorhome and go to historic sites, and some of them we'll do like reenactment sites where we can garb up and do things, and other things we'll take like Randall Carlson with us and go and look at the Younger Dreas stuff that's over in Chippewa Falls area, or grab somebody that's familiar with the snake mounds and go out east to Ohio to the snake mounds, and
my dad is like 20 minutes from there.
Yeah. Well, and I thought, there's some things that we could hook up with Scott Walter on and look
Sure.
at some of the stuff that he's been looking at. Some of it's forbidden history, but some of it's like actual history, and kind of look at what the real history is there.
Yes.
I think it'd be a fun show.
Well, the reason I ask about if you want to go to the Custer battlefield is we were looking at the prices of renting RVs to take the family.
Oh my
out there.
God, ungodly expensive.
gas will be ungodly expensive even now.
Yeah,
But,
but there
yeah,
are ways around that. So what
There
are we looking at for dates?
I don't know. Probably
Okay.
not going to happen this summer now. It's just not enough time. It's always time and money and fitting around the schedule. So Rainey's going in about 2.5 weeks.
I'd kind
3
of like to
weeks
drive the
maybe.
motorhome out to the Star Trek thing.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Did I hear we're changing the dates on that?
We got to change the date because there's a conflict in the dates.
Okay.
So we'll be changing that. Rainey's going to Alaska in about 3 weeks with Flynn. They're going to go fishing for salmon up in the river up there. And you know Kate, of course, very well. Kate
very
and
well.
Carrie live up there with their kids, Rainey's sister.
Yeah.
So anyway.
That sounds awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I have no interest in really running to Alaska, but it's beautiful, beautiful.
All right,
country.
Sarah Yusuf. There's another good point about Sarah Yusuf. She's a Trekkie.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. Yeah, we do want to do that trip. We're just going to reschedule it for a different date. Could be the next week. Could be before that.
When is Shatner there? Wasn't Shatner supposed to be there the week before or something?
This week? No, I think he's there this month at some point.
Oh, this month is not
but
good.
when he's there, it costs a lot more to get in.
Oh,
because you're paying, to see him too. I have heard when he goes to these sets, he is very personable with people. He just walks around with everybody, and goes on the tour and talks to everybody. And
very
he sits
cool.
on the bridge in his old chair and talks to everybody, and they all ask him questions and stuff. So.
He and I have mutual friends. I've never met him, but he and I have mutual friends back in Hollywood, and that are like good friends of that go on vacations with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've heard nothing but nice things about him.
I believe he's a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah.
And no matter what George Takei says.
Well, and
why not, Sarah Yusuf?
Actors often have attitude on sets, but
Sure.
that's not an uncommon thing that you have an actor that forms an attitude and creates a schism within the cast.
Yeah. Rainey, who's your favorite Star Trek actor?
The bald guy.
The bald guy.
Yeah, I can't even remember his name. I'm so tired. My captain's that
Picard.
dude. Picard.
Patrick
There
Stewart.
we go.
Patrick Stewart.
I met Patrick Stewart. I don't know him, but I met him.
Yeah, I've followed his work for a long time. I was a fan of his long before he joined Star Trek. So
yeah, I liked him way back. I remember one of the first movies I saw him in was Excalibur.
I've got a photograph of him when he actually had hair.
I'm not that old.
How old are you, Rainey?
Not old enough to know what Excalibur is.
In one of the fight manuals, I think it might have been Hobbs's fight manual. He's got pictures of different actors in London, and there's a thing where he's doing a Shakespeare workshop, and I'm looking through the crowd of people holding swords. They're all in some pose, a lunge or whatever, and I'm looking through and I go, "That's Patrick Stewart with hair."
Yeah. Hey, for you, Michelle Cannon Free. Coo 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 coo. Hey.
Coo 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 coo.
You remember that?
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, welcome to the Great White North, eh?
The Mackenzies, eh?
Yeah. I'm Bob McKenzie. This is my brother Doug. So, you Canadians. You wacky Canadians. Romeldin, his favorite captain is Captain Sicko. I don't know who that is.
I think he meant Cisco.
Oh, Cisco.
Nice.
I didn't watch Deep Space Nine
Sicko words.
all that much. I
Okay.
saw a couple of seasons of that, and
I'm starting to fade. I'm going to bed. I got to get stuff ready for
All
the
right.
other kids to go to bed, and I'm going to bed.
well, I hope
Love you, babe.
stay-
See you, babe.
Love you too. Bye.
I love you too. I'll see you in a while.
Uh-huh.
I love you.
Have fun. If
All
I can
right.
even
Yeah, I
get
was
up,
thinking one of these days
You
I might
can get
there's that KOA that's not very far from you guys.
No, we don't use that.
We don't go there.
We don't use
KOA, it's a campground.
that.
Campground.
KY.
Why don't you
And you
check
gotta-
the temperature and see if it's 69 again?
No, I turned it down to 50.
She wants to see if it'll actually cool down here.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
The Apple River Family Campground is the better campground to go to.
So I was thinking I could come up for a weekend and camp there, and you guys could come out and spend the day, go swimming, and do that kind of stuff, and hang out.
Yeah,
Sorry, Sarah Yusuf.
that'd be cool.
She said that flew right over my head.
Bye.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye. I'll see you in a while.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
People ready now.
See you. Bye now. Show. Show. Paperboy.
You and your...
Show. Do you like some popsicles? It's a really hot day. I gotta put this somewhere. There it
I'm
is.
surprised he gets away with that.
Oh my god.
He hasn't been canceled out because he does.
I know.
It's as though he's trying to get canceled. He just,
I know.
He
I
just
know.
pushes buttons. But then, I think the same thing
I
about
gotta
South
raise
Park.
my seat up.
They literally, we're gonna make fun of everybody. We're just,
That's it.
and we're gonna cross every line we can find.
Make fun of everybody. That's the thing.
Well,
That's
as
the way to
Captain
do
Morgan
it.
used to said, if it's so important, why is it a fine line? When they say you've crossed that fine line,
You've crossed
why
that
is it
fine line.
Why isn't it a big wide line with
Yeah, it's a
claps
big
and
wide line.
gates
It's
and
nothing
bells
fine about
telling
that.
you, flashing lights telling you don't go, stop. But
Stop
no,
there.
it's a fine line. You can step across it if you want to.
Right. So, anyway, I'm blank tonight. I got nothing else. I'm
It's the
digging
heat.
this series on the Djinn. I'm gonna stick
Yeah.
with it for a couple of days so we can glean some of this really good information. I think it's not
is
like
very interesting.
information you can use that's gonna better your place at the office or it's stuff to know though. And
Maybe you should give Travis a call and see if he's got time in his schedule to come on. If I remember right, he's got some gin stories from when he served over there.
yeah, I think Travis, and it's been a long time since I've. What's that now? With Travis?
Does he have the dancing around the fire story?
Dancing around the fire story with Travis. Does that ring a bell for you, Dave?
When he was in the military, was he dancing around a fire with the guys?
I
up on the
believe.
hill?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Something. There
I
was
didn't know if
something.
that
on-
was his story, or if that's someone else's story.
Don't know for sure.
That might be his.
Hmm.
I haven't heard all of his story. Did you freeze up, or are you not moving?
Not moving.
Oh, okay, there you go.
She's not. We're moving now.
Anyways, I know somebody told me straight. How long has he been into the stuff he's been into, though? Did he get into it after the military or before?
No, before he's had quite the interesting life. His dad was a big biker guy. He grew up he had kind of an interesting childhood. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. He had
Well,
an interesting
We'll
childhood.
get him on
and then
to talk
eventually
about it.
went into the military and then came back and was a cop, which, his dad's buddies
Yep.
are all bikers. They're all like, what the hell?
Yeah,
And that
he's a good
story
man.
belongs
He's
to
a good
somebody.
man. He is a good man.
But I was chatting with somebody, and they were saying that they were up on a hill, and they were just hanging out for the night, and they started a fire, and they started dancing around and chanting around the fire, and then stuff started happening, and they quick put the fire out, and they were done. So I think if it was Travis, he probably would have done more.
Was it a festival or was it in the Middle East?
It was in the Middle East.
Okay.
They're in the military. It's a military story where him and the guys were up on a hill.
It had to be Travis.
There's a story that, and
know.
I'm thinking it was Mary Apple and Dana, but they were up on the knoll. I'm trying to think who they were with. No, there's another story though, but they were up on the knoll and they were doing a fire and they conjured something.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not the thing at the pavilion, is it?
No, not the
Totally
pavilion
different time. Okay.
thing. Yeah. I'm the one that had, well, I'm sure others have, but I had an encounter with the thing in the pavilion. That was That was a freaky thing. Next Friday when we do Ghost Night again, I'll talk about that.
All right. Okay, that sounds good.
I'm walking away again.
Now you're going away again.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I remember
Goodbye.
that story and thought it was cool, but I don't think that was
Yeah.
Travis because the guys got freaked out by it. If it was Travis, I don't think he would have got freaked out.
Well,
Yeah, Travis wouldn't have been so freaked out.
he might not have been freaked out, but that doesn't mean everybody with him wouldn't have been freaked out.
That's what. Yeah, that's what she just said.
The
So,
person telling me the story was freaked
oh, the person telling her the story was freaked out. That wouldn't have been Travis then. So,
But yeah, Scott. I might come and sit down with you and just do eyes. For a
I
while.
think that'd be cool. We need to do that.
Because I just have got to nail down the eyes. It's killing me. I spent so long doing landscapes. I mean, very seldom in theater and film do they say, "Well, we need a big set of eyes over there." It's like we need a hill
You're
with
like,
this
oh
and this and this.
no.
Yeah,
Well, I really
backgrounds are
got
seldom
into-
portraiture.
I think folks are talking illustration now and painting, but
Sorry.
I think when I was able to feel like I could actually do human faces well was the day I felt that I had conquered making the eye look like the window of the soul.
Yeah, and that's
where you
just
can
it.
see
That's
the
just it.
eye.
I can make the rest of the face, like I've got a portrait that I'm working on. The rest of the face looks fine, but I can't get the eyes locked
Yeah,
in.
the eyes always look like.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's not working.
Like, there was one picture in this book, The Sword and the Clay, where I did, it's when, okay, this has got a big eye in it. It's not big on the page, but this right here, let's see if I can hold that up enough where you can see that.
Okay. I know that illustration.
Now you see that eye. This is the story where he's telling the story of the two hands woke him up in the middle of the night and he looks and it's the ghost of his brother. And so I wanted to show surprise in the eye and awe. I wasn't sure about fear as much because it was his brother, somebody he knew, but I wanted him to be the wide-eyed,
Yeah.
Somebody just woke me up and it's my dead brother
Yeah.
type of thing. And and then there was also, I just saw it in here too, the main character, Marius Abruzzo. To me, eyes are, if you can conquer how to paint or draw an eye, or set of eyes, that helps. Like this, and we're all familiar with that one. Oh, Dave's gone. There's Marius Abruzzo. But if you take a look at his eyes and the eyes of his brothers, those are his two brothers in the story. You can see. I've really worked hard to get the moist eye thing down when I paint. Because I want that to, I think there's another one in here of the two brothers. Let's see, how is that? This is supposed to be I took this from an old photo of the brothers and I painted it. Like there's Will Bird and you can see his face and their eyes. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. There you go. Sword in the Clay. Gosh, did I say that's available on the website? The Sword in the Clay. Thank you, Vicky Browning. How you doing, Vicky? Good to see you. It's been a long time. So, yeah, there goes Rainey. She's off. Raised eyebrows show surprise. Yeah, that too. So it's not just the eyes, it's the eyebrows. It's all the features around the face. Anger and all those different things that you can express in pictures. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if I had anything else in there that was worth looking at in this particular book. But there's like 19 pictures in here, believe it or not. But a lot of them don't show a lot of superficial expression. I was just going to see if I had anything else. I've got one where the brothers are the Abruzzo brothers. Yeah, see, and again, even in this, you don't see a whole lot of the eye, but there I'm showing the different brothers, and the eyes are just kind of hinted at. They're making a pact together. And so you don't see a lot of the eye there. Oh, there's Dave. He's back. You moved too
I
much.
never went away. I just got bumped backstage somehow.
There you go. Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah.
This one is hard to see, but when I painted this, I meticulously did the eyes on Will Bird here in the middle. And you can see, if I get it close enough, it's going to get blurry, but I really wanted his eyes to stand out in that, even though he's in the shadow. And now, Dave, what are you painting in? Oil?
I'm sorry, what?
What are you painting in right now with that? Oil?
Oils.
Yeah, see, I don't do oils.
I know you
I
do
have done
acrylics.
oils.
But I figure if I can figure it out in acrylics, I can transfer it over to oils.
Yes. Oh, see, now here's an older. He ended up. Do you ever do illustrations? Anybody else out there an illustrator too? I'll do pictures and they end up looking like somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't intend that to look like.
Yeah,
that
I was
person.
working on a self-portrait of me, and it turned out looking like one of the brothers in the lodge.
There you go. But I will sometimes.
I was literally working from a picture of me, and
Now,
it looks more like a picture of Dave Allison than it does of me.
Who does this evoke the face on this in your mind?
Look on
He
my
kind
other
of
device
plays
here.
westerns all the time, and kind
Sam
Elliott.
Sam Elliott. I think it's
Well,
the
see, I
mustache.
can't even get it close enough.
I think it's because of the mustache.
Yeah, it's the mustache.
I was looking at a Rembrandt the other day. There was a tutorial, and the guy's doing a study of one of the Rembrandts, and he hasn't put the beard in yet, but he's got the eyes and the nose, and I'm like, well, that looks like me.
Oh,
and then he put the beard on, and I'm like, oh, now it looks like the Rembrandt.
there you go,
Maybe I
Vicky
should
Browning.
change my
Yep, she got
beard.
it, Sam Elliott. This was Julius Caesar in the book. Let's see. It's hard to get it in there straight.
Yeah, I have to.
See it.
Switching
But
over
eyes,
to
I'm
my
talking
tablet to
eyes.
see it. Oh yeah.
That one painting I did of Hatshepsut.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh Queen, the female Pharaoh of Egypt. She looked like let's see if
Rainy?
I can. No, she actually didn't. She looked like
Because you paint Rainy a lot.
Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Here, look at this. No, the painting I did.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me get over here to Photoshop, and I'll find it here. Let's find Hatshepsut. Folks, you take a look at this. I'm sharing my screen. We're gonna find
that picture you posted of Rainy the other day with the almost Rembrandt lighting on her.
Oh yeah, in the dark. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm adding that to one of my studies.
Oh, very cool. That's the one. Yeah.
That's a great painting or great photograph.
Thank you. Hatshepsut. Let's see what we get.
That's right up there with the 4 a.m. one you took of me that one day.
Yes. Okay.
I do not want my picture taken.
That's not the right one. There's Hatshepsut, her statue. But there's a I'm sorry, I'm squinting and I got my glasses right here. Let's see. It's an illustration I did of her. I brought it up initially there, but I tried to darken it a little bit. That's not it. Hatshepsut. Oh, that's not it either. Movie cache. What the heck is that?
Is that stuff you did for me for the...
No, I'm not sure what this is. I can't open it in here, though.
Yeah, don't open it when you don't know what it is.
What is that? Let's open it. Now, I darkened her skin after the fact because I thought I made her too white looking, which is a common problem with illustrators. There she is. That's not even the right one because I messed with it a little bit a couple of times. There she is. That's the better one.
She's blurry. At
It
least
could
she's
be
on
my
mine.
screen.
Oh,
There you
it's
go.
my screen. It's my screen.
See, now I thought she ended up looking a bit Angelina Jolie-esque.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's the eye and the nose bridge.
Yep, and I didn't intend it, but she did. And there's
Yeah.
other illustrations I've done that end up looking like.
Well, the beard doesn't help because the beard really makes her look like Angelina.
Right. The beard kind of. So
Now I'll probably
But
get hate
yeah.
mail from her.
Barbara D says, Michelle, I got 18 new posters to color in. I'll send you one and show you my coloring skills. Very cool. Jolie and Tomb Raider. Yep. June Shasta, pretty much. So she looks androgynous to me. She does a little bit.
Well, but you know, she should look androgynous because that's what she was trying to evoke.
That's
to her
what she was
people.
trying to do. She was trying to look a bit androgynous. And she wore men's clothes. It was for the purpose of presenting herself, saying, I'm the king. I'm not the queen. I'm the king.
The pharaoh.
I'm the pharaoh. Buck stops here, baby.
The what stops?
The buck. Yeah. And so have you all seen the picture from here? I gotta get back to my screen share. Hold on.
The people in the quarry, I don't know if they thought very highly of her. The way they depict her in the graffiti.
Have you guys seen? Did I show you all this before? Senenmut. Nope, that didn't work. Here we go. Senenmut. There we go. It's graffiti that is in the. Hold on. Somehow, and all the shifting of things around tonight, I've shifted.
Like my new design.
That is wonderful. Very nice, Rainey.
I had to make it kid friendly for scouts.
Oh, you covered up the fuck Biden or something on there. Very nice. Here, Hatshepsut and Senenmut. Oh, that's something different. That was a totally different project.
What?
I'm looking for. That's Senenmut and Nefruri, the princess. There it is. Let me call this up. Dave, have you seen this before? Dave's not there.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
What are they doing?
I'm here.
Fucking pervs.
What are they doing? Can you see that picture?
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. That
is
from the quarry.
Supposed to be Senenmut and Hatshepsut.
Yep.
Hatshepsut is the one bent over.
Yep.
And Senenmut is the one shagging.
Yep.
This is
He's
on the
basically
wall.
saying, "I'll show you who's king."
Yeah, I'll show you who's king. But this was painted there 3,500 years ago up in the workers' cave above her temple.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the pharaoh. She's wearing the little beard they show. That's what. Thank you, Rainey. Was I supposed to comment on something or? Oh, I see that. That's beautiful. Like here's the little beard. She's got the headdress.
Absolutely stunning, darling. Absolutely stunning.
The little triangle is supposed to indicate the JJ. Senenmut shaggin. He's wearing the little headdress. You see him in other works of him.
Yep.
So I thought that's up on the wall in 3,500 year old painting on the temple wall or the workers' cave wall. Not anybody can get up there to see that, so we had a government guy had to come along with us. When we climbed up there, we had to climb up into the face of well, I don't know if I can show this or not where this was, but Workers Cave. Let's see if it comes up as that. That's inside. That's when I'm looking at the inscription there. It's coming out of the Workers Cave. Well, I guess I don't have a full picture of it. Okay, never mind.
I've seen them before.
Somewhere along the way, I wasn't going to show it just to you, but
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, the Workers Cave up in the wall of the cliff face, going behind it. So, anyway, X-rated. Cover your eyes, Barbie D. It's good to be king.
Yeah.
So,
3,000-year-old
Sean
porn.
Strike asked if that was the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah.
Modified. The modified Heimlich.
Because when it happens, you go, "Oh my!" and that projects out whatever.
My wife is wearing no pants.
You have kids in the house.
They're all upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Vagina, they're fine.
There you go. So anyway,
Olsen.
that's
Olsen.
it. Yeah, pretty much. So
Like when she was talking about the toilet cam, I'm like, "That's so Olsen." That's.
yeah, pretty much. So looking at here, who just said something here? Oh, okay.
Magical history tours. That's what we'll call it.
Call what?
Us doing taking the motorhome and going to historic sites and stuff.
Oh, there you go. We can bring along 2 people.
Yeah.
Unless you want Kara at it.
I'll actually have furniture and extra beds put in by then.
There you go.
But yeah, I've been looking at. There's a whole series of cameras that I can get to mount in the unit, so we have different camera angles for people and stuff like that, and it'd be totally easy. We'd shoot it all, and then we just cut it and edit it before we broadcast.
Right. Yeah, that'd be
We
cool.
wouldn't be doing live broadcast.
Now, this is something that Rainey and I had talked about several times. We talked to my agent about it when John and I were looking into doing history trippers. And folks, if you haven't seen the trailer for that, it's old, it's passé now, it's not going to happen. But you can go to my website, scottallenroberts.com, and scroll down the front page a little bit, and you'll see a video on the lower right. That's John and I. That is we did that. How many years ago was that now? That was 2014. So that was 8 years ago. We filmed that. Doesn't seem that long ago. But my agent was presenting that around for television. Hey, Rowan. How you doing? Rowan's in the chat room.
Hi, Rowan.
Hey, Dad. So you can go take a look at that. Go to, or better yet, you can see it on my, I think probably the better place to see it is on my YouTube page. And, well, you can click into the YouTube page from there. So let me give you a link here. Hold on. If you want to watch that. Anyway, at the time that we were doing that, here's the link to my website. You just scroll all the way down toward the bottom. And it's funny, when I'm talking, I sometimes can't figure out where the hell I am. Where am I? I'm pulling a Joe Biden here. Where the heck am there it is, StreamYard.
You're not that bad.
No, I'm not yet. So there, if you go to my website, scroll down on the right side, you'll see that video. The reason I bring that up is Dave and I were talking. We were talking to my agent about doing a family thing. I said, why don't, when the whole thing with that fell through, it didn't fall through because nobody liked it. It fell through because it didn't happen right away. And then John and Maria got really busy with their archaeological site. And so the project just went away. And we said, why don't we do a thing where we go with the family? We've seen things like this on YouTube, but I would love to do it with a good camera and some good editing and some good.
Well, and the way to do it is to literally shoot everything and then cut those together and then release that. And you could still do an occasional live show, like Fridays are live type thing, but the rest of the time you're just putting up edited content.
Turn your sound down, Rowan.
What?
You have to turn your sound down.
You gotta mute the sound of the show.
I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? How do I do that?
So where's your headphones?
I don't have any headphones.
Where's your green ones that were in here?
Fine, I'll find them.
This is fascinating.
So she's got the stream and she's
got pants on,
the
Mom?
audio coming
Can I
in.
do it? Can I do it? Can I do it?
Okay, she got pants on.
I need to find my headphones.
I got pants on.
For boxers, very nice.
Hold on.
I find myself highly stimulated.
Here's the Scotty Roberts.
So that's Rowan's bedroom, guys. That's her friend Isla.
I have you on.
So there you go, folks.
You're famous. It's your 5 minutes of fame.
Oh, well, you're gonna have echo then.
Anyway, you were saying, Dave, we were talking. I would love to do that with my family because maybe than getting a mortgage.
Do I have
Maybe
to be
what we
muted?
do here, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mute her mic.
Hi,
There. When you have something important to say, Rowan, wave your hand. What was I saying about the RV?
She's so funny.
Oh, I said, why get a mortgage? Why don't we just get a big RV and travel around the country with the kids? I think that would be
in many ways more expensive than a house.
Teach them at home.
unmute me. Oh my god.
And, teach them at home and homeschool
My
in
name's
the,
Jeff.
in the trailer.
Stop it.
Stop. I've got you on mute for a reason. I didn't know she could unmute her own mic.
Yeah, she can unmute it.
So,
but don't.
Yeah. There's Mama. All right. So, Ro, see, I just went to unmute you, and you'd already unmuted it. I'll kick you from the show if you do that again.
I have to be like that. Background looks awesome.
Yeah, that
The
does.
background does look awesome.
That mural was here when we moved in. She said, I can paint over that. I said, no, leave it.
That's not Saturn.
So-
It's Uranus.
Nice.
That's my favorite Sam
June,
story.
this is scintillating live radio.
That-
Yeah,
that's
this
my
has
favorite
absolutely
Sam
nothing
story.
to do with our show earlier tonight. This is the captain's cabin, so we can do whatever the hell we want.
That and my other favorite besides that one is sticking the two-way radios under his bed and hiding in his closet.
Oh,
Lynn?
Sam.
Oh, Sam. Yeah, that was funny. So, yeah, that's the mural in Rowan's room. What do you got to say, Ro?
you ever muted?
I do. What do you got to say, Ro?
I'm bored.
Oh. Well, it is 10:45 at night.
Bored.
Bedtime.
Go to bed.
I don't have to go to bed.
You have to be
Says
up
who?
and at school at 10 o'clock. So go to bed.
You got summer school tomorrow.
No, I don't have to go to bed.
I got no.
Says who? You do.
June Shasta, Ro wants a cat. Yes, she does.
No, I don't.
And she's named it Piper.
Get plenty of sleep before I come out there on Friday. I don't want you tired.
So, yeah, we have already have a cat.
Get plenty of
So,
sleep before I
there you
come
go.
out there on Friday.
No, I'm gonna. So,
Yeah, we have.
no, Dad, I'm getting a free cat, and I'm gonna take full responsibility of it. It's gonna be in my room and everything,
I'm
and I'm
gonna
gonna
take
feed it.
full responsibility for it.
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard come out of her mouth.
Tell me about the rabbits, George. The pink ones and the purple ones and the green ones.
It's
and those
gonna
that love
no,
them and
no.
hug
Its
them?
litter box is
and
gonna
make
go
it
in my
my very
room. I'll
own.
pay for the food. I'll pay to get it spayed. Just let me get a cat.
You got a cat. He's a big fat black cat. He needs brushing right now.
Not a fat and old. Let me get a cat.
You come up with $700 so we can spay or neuter it and
Yep.
get all of its shots.
Yep.
Then you can get a cat.
There you go. Boom. There it is.
Don't look
I'll
at me.
give you
for
a-
$700.
I'll give you
Getting
$7. I'll give you $7 bucks.
It's a nice start. By the time you're 17, you'll be able to afford a cat at that rate of savings.
What?
Rowan, which iPhone do you have?
I don't have an iPhone.
It's a Samsung.
Oh, which Samsung do you have?
I have an Android.
no.
Samsung. It's a Moto E.
Oh, Moto
Okay.
E. I don't even know what that is.
It was like
The Moto E
$99
2020.
or something
Hello, people of Earth.
from Straight
Did you
Times.
Hello.
pick, when you selected your wish list? Did you pick the right one for your phone?
Hello, people of Earth. Can you hear that?
Because not all covers work on all phones.
She probably didn't.
That's
That's why I was
What?
checking.
Okay, daughter, I'm going to let you go.
Now, let me turn my head that way and go.
We'll talk.
What?
Okay, daughter. Okay. See ya.
Okay, bye. Bye now.
Bye, baby.
Bye.
So there you go.
See you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. See
Yeah.
ya. Anyway. No,
Flynn kicked over my thermometer.
I just said no to you coming in here. Go.
Anyway,
Okay. Anyway, for those of you who have not seen the captain's cabin before, it can get this way if the kids are up late. During the school year, they're not here so much this late, but in the summertime,
Summertime, we don't go to bed till 1.
everybody's up late around here in the summertime. So, yeah, cats are okay. The thing we have about Oscar, he's an old cat. He's about 14, 13 maybe. He had his front claws removed before we even knew him or had him. We got him about 6 or 7 years ago. Animal shelter. And he's a great cat, great personality. But I don't want to go through the whole kitten stage with claws that can rip up my furniture and things and
oh my God, they're
scratch
just
me.
terrible.
Not into it. So there you go, folks. There you go. Here, I'm going to take off Odyssey Radio over on Facebook. Goodbye. I'm going to... Oh, is that going to remove it forever or just from the show? Oh.
Oops.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't know. It's not complete enough instructions. I can turn the check mark off. It says edit or remove. Ooh, am I going to remove it from my system? And then I'd have to reconfigure all that? I better just leave it alone. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up pretty quick here, folks.
Yep, it's late.
Don't rub your bubble on the carpet.
I won't.
It's late. I'm going to get up in the morning and lay paint to canvas. And
Yeah, that sounds like fun. All right, guys. Everybody who's left, Dave, I'm going to let you go. Have a good night. See you, brother.
Everyone.
Love you. All right, guys. So let's call it a wrap for tonight. As you can see, we've drifted from actually starting out with a topic to leaving topic and it going in all different weird directions. But that's the captain's cabin for you. That's my family life gets displayed on here quite a bit. And I hope you have enjoyed yourself being here tonight. And let's get out of here. I want everybody to have a good night. We'll see you back tomorrow night. And until then, live long and prosper.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.